Well, it all started with some magazines. Hi, this is Beverly Cole. I'm in my studio and I'm collecting pictures in black and white from magazines. I have a yearning to do a black and white collage. And what got me started was the pictures in these magazines. They're very, very graphic to me. They are interesting, even though they're black and white. There's so much history in these pictures. And indeed, they will tell a story. So my aim is to create a collage that tells a story. It will start with these pictures, and the story will evolve as I create the collage. The first thing I need to do is to cut these out, and I use a ruler to cut the straight edges of the pictures. It's very easy because magazine paper is so thin. So I am cutting out more than I will need. I know I won't use all of them, but all of them intrigue me. After they're cut out, I played with them for a while and laid them out on my tabletop to see what would happen if I started putting them together. I was seeing a story. And so the story will evolve. Even though I'm laying them out here a certain way, it is not the way they end up on my board. I'm not one to take a picture and try to redo it exactly the same way. I feel that, once I've laid them out enough that I get of a good feeling about them, then I can go ahead and lay them out on my board. And this is my board. And it's a painting that, background that I did that I've never used. I never appreciated it. I never liked it. It's been put away for years. So I pulled it out and said, I'm going to make this collage on this board. The first layer is, for lack of a better word, underpants. That will be hidden, like your underpants are, by other things that are laid on top. But I wanted something between my pictures and that loud background. So collecting these pages was the answer. As I do this, I'm finding things that I think would be good for other collages. Maybe one on hospitals in the past. Maybe one, here's one, autumn leaves, the rustle of leaves, and I already found one picture of figs that I think the colors would be great. Now I'm looking for more things that I can create texture with and cover up the background. So I start with a layer of glue. This is Elmer's glue, just regular strong, the strong formula it's called, of Elmer's glue, and I'm covering that loud background. Really, all I want from that background is the sturdiness of the board. And I'm using a brayer to lay everything down. Of course, I can't use the brayer on the papers later after the glue is on top, because what will happen is the brayer will pull the glue and the paper off. So I can only use it when I have dry papers. I'm using some vintage papers, some cardboard, some tea-stained papers, and some natural colored tissue paper. Also pages from an old music catalog, and it doesn't matter if it's upside down or right side up because it's going to be covered. Remember, it's like underpants, so. Very easy to do. Rip the music pages. The paper is very, very, very delicate. This is almost completely covered up. And now I am layering my pictures. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of the footage of me gluing these down. My camera ran out of space and I wasn't aware of it, but that's okay. You get the main idea. And these photographs are just amazing. When you work with black and white, you see a lot more of the texture. The color doesn't take away from the texture. They can be extremely useful and extremely graphic. So I'm laying things out. The smaller things are further away, so they're up at the top. And the closer things are near the bottom. I just love that window and that little clapboard house. Now I'm adding some more tissue paper over the pictures to add texture and to take your eye from one area to another. This is all speeded up so that it doesn't, get boring. So the last thing I do is to add a layer of glue, Elmer's glue, to the entire surface. What will happen is that will dry clear and protect all of the pictures from being torn away. And it gives it a little bit of a sheen, which I just love. I have been working on this collage of magazine, black and white, basically, photos of homes and windows and some architectural pieces and some maps and some landscapes, totally in like a black and white motif. And I messed up and I missed out on about 40 minutes of me gluing all these down and deciding where to put them. So I have to apologize for that. But here we are. All the pieces are here. And I had put a layer of glue over the entire piece. So now it's smooth and kind of shiny. You know how I love shiny. So we're going to move on from here today. And I'm going to take some gesso and I'm going to kind of white out some areas that I don't really need. I'm going to splurge and I'm going to grab myself a new brush. Now, I did go from closer up to further away. As you can see the balloons up here in the corner, hot air balloons. Homes that are farther away. And so I am going to start by blending in some of these photographs and backgrounds just to get some of those edges gone and blend them together. And you know how I use my finger quite a bit. Our God-given tools, our fingers. And some of these things I may decide later that I don't even need anymore. We shall see. We shall see. Pushing some things to the background. These are all from magazines. I love the idea of going with the black and white to begin. I thought that was kind of interesting, so that's why I did that. Some of the pictures are very interesting and some of them are just mediocre. But they all lend themselves to a story. Not quite sure exactly what that story is yet, but that's how I usually do this. I start with pictures of some kind and then add and take away. These over here, they're not very descriptive except for maybe the balloons. Those may end up gone. I don't know. We don't know right now. And I'm finding that I'm enjoying using this kind of rough, scratchy kind of application, like a scumbling. I love this building and I love this window, these two things. I love those two things and those may end up being my focal point. Got some lily pads right here, stone wall, pretty nondescript things. Now the window repeats this shape here, so I really like that. Really like that a lot. And I have tried to repeat certain shapes. Here is more windows, all those arch shape. Now this kind of looks like trees when I put that gesso over them. I like that. This is kind of like a map leading into here. And some trees and trees. This is actually a boat upside down. The, what do you call that? Whatever that point of the boat is. I'm not a boat person, so. Houses, buildings, shapes, trees. So it's a mixture of architecture and nature. Don't need that whole street. Don't even need the whole, just a part of that house back there. This is very dark and nondescript, so that'll probably be gone. Some of these things, as the story changes, will change as well. So I'm studying it right now, and I'm looking for places where I really don't need what's there, and I'm seeing, do want to leave that. This is pretty nondescript, as I said before. This corner up here with the balloons, that can stay. This I'm not sure about. I might have to lighten that up or just get rid of it as much as I like it. This I want it to look really far away. And this. And then I look at it from far away. I put it up and I walk away. So right now, the things I love this, this up here. Well, we will add some more things. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go in with a baby wipe. And if you don't have a baby wipe, a little bit of water or even alcohol on a cloth will do. I want to bring forward some of the things I really, really like, but I have to be careful because this is magazine, and magazine is very fragile. Now, I did put a coat of glue over the whole thing, so what'll probably happen is that some of the glue will get cloudy again while I'm doing this, but the cloudiness will go away as it dries. I do love this shadow here, and I don't want to lose that. I think that is very effective right here. I love it. Love that. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so I want to clear that up a little bit. And I used an arch shape there, I just noticed, so that's kind of cool. That might be something that will repeat too, or echo that arch shape that I have in these windows. This is actually a window that's gone now. It's like a ruin. And I wonder in the magazine where I got these, if that's actually the same window. I don't know. And this is kind of cool down here. And it has that oval shape here that repeats. So let's clear that up a bit. I like where those lines, what those lines add. Those are nice lines. And this also. This I'm not so worried about. This is kind of neat. I'm thinking I could probably add some more light around that. This little guy up here, this house up here, very cool. This one, just maybe that part. This is inside some ruins too, although I've lost quite a bit of it. I think I might be able to bring it back. It's a really cool picture, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Yeah, so I love this, the movement here. That's all grass. These are hot air balloons. Some trees are nice. Nice to have some trees. We can make those kind of a green. That'll be neat. But that's all I'm gonna do right now. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm gonna look through here and see, a mess, if there's anything in here that lends itself to a house or a home. And what I'm thinking of is, of course, nests. I'm not sure this is the right issue for a nest. This looks more like it is actually winter. Keep out. Huh, interesting. Endangered birds nesting. Well, let's rip that out, okay? Keep that here. It's the only thing so far that I see that reminds me of being at home. Now here is a map from our county of different nature preserves that you can visit in the area. So here we have a house with trees. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we got that. And this kind of gives me an idea too. I could put in some of my jelly plate prints. Why not, right? So working through a magazine like this, you can get you'd be surprised the things that you see that could work for you. Okay, so I have a few more things to add, and I have an idea of putting some color in. I think before I add any more of these things, perhaps I will add some color, and then these can be added later. As long as the lines are straight and there's nothing else in the way, I can do it this way. I just press down on this heavy duty, kind of a heavy ruler I picked up somewhere along the way. I don't even know if I want to leave this hole. Not sure yet where I want to put that. So I think I'm just going to put those aside, and we'll work with some of my jelly plate prints that I made. I made some new ones the other day with my friend over her house in the garage. And this was actually one I already put up on Instagram because I think it's so cool. I think I'm just going to frame this. My daughter says it reminds her of pizza. That's so great. Check out these lines that I got just from placing my jelly plate over and over on the same piece of paper. And I really like those lines. These are all done. Oh, there's some color on tissue. So whatever colors we put on here with tissue, you'll be able to see through. So we have that. These are not tissue. Aren't they cool? Let me see if I can get to some tissue. Ooh, that's pretty. I just like that. Maybe we'll put some of that in. It's not tissue, but I like it. I think I made 40 prints. Yeah, 40. Ironically, we both made 40. We weren't counting, but when it turned out to see how much we made, we each had 40 prints. This is a feather. That might work with a bird thing, but I don't think it's going to work with this one. But I'm really loving these more earthy tone ones for this. Look at this one. Look at that one. Isn't it pretty? That's cool. That's a cool one. But not for this. Here's some more purplies. Okay, see this one? Look. That's how I did this one. Isn't that cool? Onion bag. Onion bag. Onion bag. Yeah, I think I'm just going to start with a little bit of color, and I'm going to use, once again, my favorites. Okay, I want to add some green first because I know where the tree is. And the tree is right here, very loosely. Not to look like a tree, just to give the impression of treeness. And up here too, with some trees. And then down here we have lily pads. I'll put some of the lily pads. And it's not that I need to have something there for it to be green, but that, you know, I'm just playing right now, trying to decide where I want different things. And since these kind of look like tree branches, let's put some green in there. So that's starting to give me a little bit of movement. And now I'll add some yellow. And these, see, I was talking on my last video about how this one got worn out. You see the hole and there's no more sponge left. This one still has the sponge, but these are very old. And so the red is really worn. So yellow, I'm thinking around the light, maybe some up here. We have this, maybe some around this. It's very cool and I don't want to lose it. I'm probably going to end up losing that, but it doesn't really matter. Window. Yeah, these are Tim Holtz Distress Paints by Ranger. And they're more of a crafty thing, but you know, I was a crafter. So, all right, now I've got the red one, which doesn't have a good dauber anymore. So what I think I'm going to do, this is a sponge dauber. So what I can do is I can put the paint on the sponge dauber, hopefully get it going, and just open it. Put a little bit on here, not too much, not too much. So I sponge that off a little. Ooh, yeah, that's a pretty color. Here, pretty heavy-handed with this because of the sponge dauber, but you know, you can cover color up too. And the yellow and the red all mixed to make a beautiful orange. Now the color is wearing away. One more little spot of red. You can always just, you know, tap it off. So the colors will help tie things together. I love the colors. Okay, so we added some color. I wish I had blue, but I do have blue paint and I have a sponge dauber, right? So I'm just using regular acrylic paint on my sponge dauber. And that's working, so I guess it'll be okay. Absolutely love the way the colors blend. And I am getting some purple where the red and the blue overlap. That looks neat. Once I started using these in my collages, they became one of my go-tos. I love how the fired brick is blending with this blue paint. I mean, this is just blue acrylic paint. So I'm just blending because I'm having fun doing it. So I really like what's happening right there. So I have some alizarin crimson on my palette. So I just picked up a little bit because I want to make this darker. You see the alizarin, I picked it up on my sponge. Tap it off a little, add some more of that blue. And now I'm on my tabletop. Let me show you, I'm mixing the colors like that. And this is just awesome. Yeah, I really like that. Now let me just get really super brave or crazy, not quite sure which. And see how it's blending in. I love that. You need to have the contrast. So this is some darker paints. I'm loving this. Oh yeah, this is cool. I'm discovering that I like the purpley dark. Look how it brings out the texture too. And how this pops. I'm loving it. All right, now I need more blue, I think. So by doing this, we're pulling together our collage pieces, our pictures, and forming a kind of a story. We've got some light areas, we've got some dark areas, we've got some purple areas, and we're going to add some yellow areas more, because when you put the yellow next to this purple, you're going to see it really pop because there are complementary colors. They are colors opposite each other on the color wheel. We have contrast, variety. It's going to be great. I'm not quite sure about this right here. It's kind of too much of a doubling of that shape, but we will see. It's a little too dark right here. This I don't like. So what I'm going to do is just add some water and soak that up. Maybe just kind of rub out some of that color, and immediately that dark is gone. What you're seeing is the Elmer's glue brought back to life and some of the gesso. Take away some of that shape. I'm a firm believer in add and subtract. Add and take away. Something very basic we learned in elementary school, right? I'm just going over some spots, like that. Until next time, when we'll continue with this collage. Bye.